Tang tang namassami harisavanna patavim pabhasam tayan jaguntavi hare udivasam yim brahmena vedagu sambudhame te me namo te chamam bhadayantu namantu buddhanam namantu bodhiyam namo vibuddhanam imam so
Hello. So, I see only a few people smiling today. First thing you have to remember is, in this retreat, you're here to let go of your daily life outside. You're here on vacation. You're here to have fun. Okay? So, I will emphasize a lot of smiling, because smiling keeps the mind light. It sharpens the mindfulness. Allows you to be here, present. And I want you to be able to be like a little child. Have fun in this retreat. Whatever effort that you think that you need to do that by half, and then adjust accordingly. So the meditation is very simple. This is a feeling-based meditation, which means you don't use a mantra, you don't use any kind of imagery, you don't use anything as your object of meditation, except for what's known as the Brahma Viharas. The Brahma Viharas are made up of four. That is metta, or loving kindness, karuna, or compassion, mudita, or empathetic joy, and upekkha, or equanimity. When you start out with this practice, you are going to be cultivating and developing loving kindness. That is metta, loving kindness. And like I said, this is a feeling-based meditation, which means it's psychosomatic in nature. You feel something in your body, and you stay with the awareness of that feeling. There are a few ways to bring up this feeling of loving kindness. You can use statements in your mind like, may I be happy, may I be well, may I be filled with loving kindness, may I be free of suffering. You can say that a few times until you actually feel that loving kindness. So what is that feeling of loving kindness? That feeling of loving kindness is wanting the happiness for yourself and wanting the happiness of others around you. So another way to bring up the loving kindness is to use imagery. You bring up the image of holding a little cute baby in your arms, or a little puppy or kitten. And that creates this warm, glowing feeling in the center of your chest. Once you start feeling that, that's a manifestation of loving kindness. Then you let go of any of the imagery and rest your mind on the feeling of loving kindness, that warm feeling. Another thing you can do is bring up a wholesome memory. For those of you who are parents or older siblings, you remember the time when your child was born, or remember the time when your younger sibling, how it made you feel. The pure love that emanated. And then let go of the image, let go of the memory. And let the mind, let the awareness just rest in that feeling of love and kindness. You could use gratitude. First thing in the morning, think about the things that you are grateful for. Things that you might possess. Not just physical possessions, but qualities that you possess. The relationships that you have with family and friends. And allow that gratitude to elevate your mind and heart. And when you feel that feeling, that warm feeling, that glowing feeling of loving kindness, let go of the gratitude aspect of it. And let your mind just rest in that loving kindness. So you can use different kinds of methods that can bring up that feeling. But the meditation itself is to rest your mind in that for the first 10 minutes. That's your object of meditation. After 10 minutes, you bring up a Kalyana Mitta. Kalyana Mitta is sometimes translated as spiritual friend. Spiritual friend means somebody who you admire, somebody you have respect for, somebody who you think of immediately puts a smile on your face. It doesn't have to be somebody you personally know either. It can be somebody that's an inspiration to you. Traditionally, their instructions were to have a spiritual friend who is of the same sex as your own. But if you are of the LGBTQ community, you can choose of anyone of any sex. The point of that instruction is that you want to choose somebody that you don't have any kind of sensual lust for. And this has to be somebody who is alive. And not a family member, not a relative. And then they receive your loving kindness for the duration of the practice. First 10 minutes, you're letting your heart feel that loving kindness. You're letting your mind be imbued with that feeling of loving kindness. First 10 minutes. For the duration of the practice, you bring up that friend. You can visualize them in front of you. And you can imagine or visualize that feeling being sent to them. Or, if it's easier, you can imagine that friend and put them in the center of your heart. And imagine them basking in the feeling of loving kindness that you are emanating. And so that's the duration of the practice. You want to sit for a minimum of 30 minutes. If you can sit longer, that's much better. The walking practice. Now the walking meditation you can do over here. We have a lot of space in this hall. You can do it downstairs in one of the halls, and we also have a space on the roof. You can do some walking meditation. It's the same thing. You bring up your spiritual friend bring up the feeling of loving kindness and send that feeling of loving kindness to your friend. And you want to walk at a normal pace. You don't need to walk slowly. Walk as you would just walking on the street. The point is to cultivate that awareness of loving kindness even while walking at a normal pace, and then staying with that loving kindness, doing whatever it is that you're doing. Whether it's having breakfast, having lunch, walking, sitting, standing, taking a shower, whatever it might be. Now, as you do the practice, you will invariably get distracted. This is a natural process of the practice. You will get distracted. These distractions are known as hindrances, and I will get more into what they are tomorrow. But understand these hindrances not to be your enemies. These distractions are your friends. These distractions are your teachers. They shed light on your attachments. They shed light on your sources of aversion. So let's say you bring up the feeling of loving kindness and you're staying there and it feels wonderful and your awareness is imbued with that feeling, and then your mind drifts away, thinking about something else. Now you're no longer on your object of meditation. You are distracted when your attention is fully away from that feeling of loving kindness. If there are thoughts in the background, and you're still with the feeling of loving kindness, then you don't need to bring your mind back. Because you're staying with the object. When your mind gets distracted, it means your attention is fully away from that feeling of loving kindness. So how do you bring your attention back? This is a process of right effort. There are 4 components to right effort. Preventing unarisen, unwholesome states from arising. Abandoning already arisen, unwholesome states. Generating unarisen, wholesome states of mind. And maintaining already arisen, wholesome states of mind. So there is a mnemonic device that we use to understand and apply the right effort, which is called the 6 R's. 6 R's. Recognize, release, relax, re-smile, return, and repeat. When you're staying with your object of meditation and you get distracted, for a moment you notice you're distracted at some point. The noticing of that mind being distracted is the first step. Recognize. Then you bring your attention back to mind and body. You're releasing your attention from that distraction. Then you relax. Consciously relax the mind and body. When you relax, you are tranquilizing bodily formations. Tranquilizing formations that are rooted in craving, some form of craving, in the form of grasping, form of pushing away, the form of identifying with something, taking something personally. After you relax, bring up the smile. So when you sit down for the practice, you're already smiling. When you see any iconography of the Buddha, you see that there's always a little smile on his face. Smile with your mouth, smile with your eyes, smile with your mind, smile with your heart. And then when you have the smile, return back to the feeling. Let the smile be an anchor to that feeling of loving kindness. And then stay there. And then repeat whenever you get distracted. Recognize you were distracted. Release your attention from that distraction. Relax the tightness and tension in mind and body. Back to the smile. Turn to your object. Repeat whenever necessary. These R's, when you do them, you roll these R's. You don't have to think, okay, now I'm recognizing. Okay, now I'm releasing. Okay, now I'm relaxing. No. The moment you notice it, now you recognize. The moment you put your attention back to mind and body, you are releasing your attention from that distraction. Then you consciously relax. Come back to the smile. Come back to the object. It should take you no more than 3 to 4 seconds to do that whole process in 6 hours. Even less. Now, when you go down to rest and relax and meditate, and then when you're ready to turn in for the night, make a determination in your mind to see if you can wake up at a certain time. Let's say you have to wake up at 5 o'clock. Make a determination to wake up at 4:57 or 5:02. This will help later in further practices. See how well you can do this. Take it easy with this practice. There's nowhere to go. Right? There's no one to be. There's nothing to do. Just relax. Enjoy the practice. Make it like a game. This isn't a competition. I'm not going to be handing out certificates at the end of this retreat. So enjoy yourself. Have fun with it. Don't push yourself. Now, in terms of the interviews, so tomorrow there won't be any interviews. Tomorrow we will have a group sitting at 1:30, and it will be led by Venerable Bhante Ānanda, and it will be an interesting group sitting. The day after tomorrow, we will have the interviews. Bhante Ānanda, who's not here right now, but he'll be here the day after tomorrow. He will conduct the interviews on the 14th. In his place, Venerable Bhante Ānanda will do the interviews in the morning. I will be doing the interviews in the afternoon. And I think Bharat is going to put up a sheet to let you know what day is when you need to switch. Because 2 days in the morning you'll be interviewing with Bhante Ānanda, and then 2 days in the afternoon you'll be interviewing with me. The monastics will be interviewing with Bhante Ānanda. Now when you come in for the interview, it is not a therapy session. We are not your psychiatrists. We're not trying to figure out what happened in your childhood. When you come into the interview, be prepared to answer 5 basic questions. What was your object of meditation? What was your longest sit? How long did you stay with the object of meditation before you got distracted? How did you bring your attention back to your object of meditation when you got distracted? And anything new happened in your meditation. These 5 questions. That's it. Okay? Now, does anyone have any questions? minimum time is 30 minutes.
Can object of meditation be anything which gives us happiness and joy?
You have to bring up something that brings up that feeling of happiness. And stay with the feeling of happiness, not the object there is the happiness, the loving kindness, the feeling, not the thing that brings up the feeling. So I'll always ask a question at the Dhamma talk. Yeah, you don't have to ask an individual.
Someone who has done a lot of breath watching practice, anapanasati, the mind automatically cannot avoid watching the breath. Can it be done together?
It should not be done together. When you find yourself starting to get into anapanasati, for that time being, treat it as a distraction.
Again, it's an impress.
Yes. And then 6R, and then come back to the feet.
What to do when the feeling is not strong?
That's the thing about the feeling. The feeling will be strong, and the feeling will be not so strong. Feeling might be weak, but that's okay. If the feeling is not there, then I will give you other practices to do. But what you are teaching yourself here when you do this is how the feeling is also conditioned. Any object of meditation is conditioned. And it will change because it is conditioned. So if things change in your meditation, just observe them. Don't try to hold on to the feeling. Let the feeling be there. If it goes away, it goes away. Bring it back up. That's it. When you do the 6 R's, when you see how this feeling changes, you are seeing for yourself the process of impermanence, the process of instability. And the moment you take it personally, the mind causes itself suffering. So watch it like a movie. The mind is a very interesting movie. Just observe it. The way to look at this practice is, this isn't a single pointed focus practice. It's more of a, what you would call a lantern consciousness, lantern awareness, sort of a panoramic kind of awareness. But you're staying with an object to keep your mind rooted in something, anchored in something, in orbit. So your mind's attention is a satellite. The object of meditation here is the planet Earth. Due to the gravitational field of your correct attention, it orbits the planet. But then as you get distracted, satellite drifts away. It's no longer in orbit. So you use the 6 hours to bring the satellite back into orbit. That's it. Don't give too much importance to the feeling. Let the feeling be an anchor for your mind to remain stable, steady, and alert.
Is the feeling always located in the heart, or can it be a sensation in the throat or the arms?
It's usually in the heart, and it will change. It might become weaker, it might become stronger, it might shift up, it might shift down. Just allow the mind to be aware of that. Anyone else?
Is there any particular position to meditate, a right way, a right sitting?
You can sit on the floor if you like, or you can sit in a chair. You can even lie down. So there's no magic pose that helps. As long as your attention, if you're lying down and you're meditating, some people have very excruciating back problems. So it might be best to sit in a chair. If that doesn't work, you can lie down, try that. But if you're doing that, make sure that your attention is a little stronger, a little bit more emphasis in your focus. So there's no magic in sitting cross-legged. Yes, all the time. That's the point. You forget to smile. Recognize you forgot to smile and bring it back. Training your mindfulness in that way. The more you smile, you see there's been research done about this. They did a research on, actually Venerable Bhante Ānanda is perfect to talk about this.
There have been a few studies on the psychological benefits of smiling. One of the most interesting studies was on people that they administered Botox. Does everyone know what Botox is? Where they inject a chemical to make the lips bigger in this case. And there was a control group who got the Botox that didn't give them a smile. And then a group of people that were the Botox just happened to lift their mouth in the right way to make them smile. People who had this little smile from the chemical uplift, they found were psychologically happier than the other group.
It doesn't mean you get Botox.
So you don't have to get Botox, but if you're not smiling on this retreat, we will recommend Botox.
You know, when we were in Dhamma, Missouri, especially when it was hot out, if we found somebody not smiling, actually I gifted Venerable Bhante Ānanda the world's smallest water gun.
Super soaker.
Super soaker. I don't know if you guys know what super soaker is, but it's like a pitch party, you know, heavy duty pitch party. And it was very small. So anyone who was caught not smiling, he would secretly bring it out. So we're not going to do that here, but this is something we could do. Do you know about the pencil one?
Yeah, there was also a study where they put a pencil in people's mouth to basically uplift the corners of their mouth without them really knowing what was going on. And these people, based on a questionnaire they were filling out, seemed to be psychologically happier than another group. So there's all these little tricks, but you can just feel for yourself. If you smile right now, how does your mind feel?
Important
hear you at all. I'm sorry.
Feeling is different from sensation, right? Because some people think sensations are...
So the sensations are the same as feeling in this case. When we talk about feeling-based meditation, we're talking about a sensation, a warm sensation in the heart. But it is also tied to an emotional quality of feeling good, feeling happy. Actually, that's good because if it uplifts the mind, yes, you can use that as you're bringing up the feeling and staying with the quality of the feeling. So when you see that, when you notice that, when you're chanting, that the mind is uplifted and you have this sense of appreciation or whatever it is, that pamoja that comes up, you can use that as the object. Okay, let's end it here. Anyone else? Oh, do they have the sharing together?
Yes.
Everybody has the sharing? No, it's
Not yet. Triggers for the metta shares like the holding a child or reconnecting a very joyous moment. As a replacement for that, I can use chanting.
yes,
Just to trigger.
just to trigger it and let go of the chanting and then stay with the feeling.
And then improve the kalyan is that.
Yes, after 10 minutes, then bring up the kalyan.
So 10 minutes we have to stay with the trigger without the kalyan.
Right, because you're doing it to yourself.
There are two parts of the practice. First 10 minutes with yourself and then you use the kalyan.
Correct. So
It's not there.
it's not there. Actually, I also need it. I don't remember my word. Can I help you out with this? May suffering ones be suffering free, and the fear struck fearlessly. May the grieving shed all grief, and may all beings find relief. May all beings share the spirit that we have thus acquired for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness. May beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, share the spirit of ours. May they long protect the Buddha's dispensation.